Hey guys, coming to you from my back porch today, enjoying all of this beautiful weather that the Lord has given us. Yesterday, we talked about how Jesus rode a donkey into Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover feast with his disciples. Now, before he could do that, Jesus had to find a place to celebrate the Passover meal. He didn't have a home there. So he told his disciples to go into Jerusalem, into the town, and that they would find a man who would be carrying a water jar. And he said, follow this man to his home and tell him, the teacher, that's what they called Jesus, the teacher wants to have his Passover meal here. And he said the man would show them to an upstairs room that they could use and that they would find all the food that they needed for the celebration in the town. After they had eaten the Passover meal together that evening, Jesus had an important lesson to share with the disciples. The Bible says that he poured water into a large bowl and he tied a towel around his waist. What was he doing? The disciples weren't really sure what was happening. Then Jesus knelt down at each disciple's feet and he washed them one by one. Usually a servant would do a job like that because it was a really dirty job. And usually, like the master of the home, he wouldn't do something like that. And so the disciples were really kind of confused. What are you doing, Jesus? Peter said. Jesus finished his work, and then he said, you call me your Lord and your teacher. And those names are true. So if your Lord and teacher has washed your feet like a servant, then you must also serve one another. When I washed your feet tonight, I set an example that you need to follow, and you'll be blessed if you do this. You see, in Bible times, walking in sandals on dusty roads, that gave people very, very dirty feet. And some families had servants to cook, some had them to clean, to make food. Kings often had a ton of servants. Jesus was God's son, the King of Kings. But instead of letting people serve him, he served others. The Bible, one of his names in the Bible is servant. He left his beautiful home in heaven and came to live with all of us here on earth. He taught us about God. He healed the sick. He even gave his life for us on the cross. And he said that we need to serve others. So what can you do today to serve those around you? Is it helping with the dishes? Is it taking the dog out? Is it just being obedient when your parents ask you to do something? Remember, we've talked about the fruit of the Spirit? Showing kindness, showing love, peace, self-control. Those are all ways to serve as well. I can't wait to hear some of the stories about how you've been following Jesus' example and being a servant. See you guys later.